We have already seen what happens when we absolve the captain. Now let's see what happens when we arrest him. The first half is the same. The fight for the gun is the same as well, so I'm going to cut straight to the aftermath for this one.
Inspector, I give you Sir Eustace's killer. He tried his best to perform his own justice.
Well, I'm not surprised. Yes, it was me. I confess.
Here is a piece of evidence that can be used in court.
Perfect. A case that went smoothly for once.
And now I'm going to show you what happens if you don't wrestle the gun from the captain's hand. Trigger warning here, he is not going to aim for Holmes, so it's probably safe to look again when you hear Lestrade, or I will probably put a timestamp in the description.
Watson.
It's over, Holmes. We can do nothing for him now.
Here is a case that didn't end as I had expected. It is entirely my fault. I know that you have already drafted a summary of the case. You have my permission for its publication, if you so wish.
I'll think about it, Holmes.
Holmes! Whatever is going on here?
That is Sir Eustace's killer. He has performed his own brand of justice.
My God! But why did you not call me?
I apologize. Here is his letter of confession.
So much drama.
You have no idea.
You get the same video sequence whether you decide to absolve or condemn the captain. There are 3 outcomes to this case. The second one involves a domestic accident.
Ladies, I know the full story. You are both guilty, are you not?
Mr. Holmes, I can explain everything.
No, madam, he's bluffing.
It is no use. Your husband was a violent man, a cruel man. Your argument last night ended tragically, with him stumbling and falling, fatally striking his head upon the fireplace grate. However, your mise en scène to divert suspicion was unnecessary. You should have admitted the truth.
The truth is often subjective, Mr. Holmes.
Not to me.
What will you tell Inspector Lestrade?
He will find nothing, as he handed the case over to me. Farewell, ladies. Inspector, I'm afraid that the murderers have escaped us.
What? Do you mean to tell me that you failed? Never thought I'd live to see the day.
I mentioned the murderers, not the case. It is obvious that the crime was committed by 3 criminals who cannot be the Randalls.
You really think so?
You only need to find a gang of 3 thugs wandering around. I can trust you to do that.
If they exist, I'll catch them.
You'll find someone, I have no doubt of it. Goodbye, Inspector.
I know that we have already seen the clip with Lestrade, But one thing that does strike me as odd, and I've kind of mentioned something in the thread, but I'm going to mention something here as well, is that Holmes is perfectly willing to pin this crime on 3 random strangers. And back in the day, I mean, the death penalty was still around at this point. Well, it was in England for many decades to come, I think. But the death penalty was used for such trivial things as stealing a loaf of bread, and Holmes is perfectly accepting of the fact that Lestrade's going to take 3 men off the street and pin the murder on them. That does not strike me as very Holmesian. So let's condemn the lady and see what happens.
I have reached my conclusion, Lestrade. I regret that your culprits are in the next room.
Lady Brackenstall and her maid?
Yes, and their mise en scene after the death of Sir Eustace can only point to premeditation.
That's terrible. Follow me. I'm going to arrest them. Ladies, I must arrest you both for the murder of Sir Eustace.
What? But that's impossible. We are innocent. Madam!
You'll tell that to the judge. Come with me now.
You are making a serious mistake, Inspector. You too, Mr. Holmes, which is rather surprising of you.
Or rather, impossible.
The third and final outcome, which you may have guessed already, is that we're going to blame this on the Randalls, who I believe in the short story weren't even in the country when this happened. Glory to Lestrade. I don't think there's much difference between these two.
Well, Inspector, this case proved to be a simple one after all.
You think it's the Randall gang, then?
Yes.
I'll put my men on it straight away.
I'll leave that to you, Inspector. After all, you have handled this matter quite brilliantly.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Holmes. I do appreciate it.
That was very short. I believe there is some slightly different dialogue with this one.
Well, Inspector, this case proved to be a simple one after all.
You think it's the Randall gang, then?
Yes.
I'll put my men on it straight away.
The next time you call on me, do try to make sure it's for something a little better than this.
What do you mean, Mr. Holmes?
It is a case that only Watson could find some small point of interest in. I am used to more challenging work.